everyone! We're here to do the mid-year book freakout tag because it's almost halfway through the year already. This tag was originally done by Read Like Wildfire and Earl Grey Books, and we'll leave links to their channels in the description down below. We're both going to answer each question, and there's quite a few, so let's just get right into it.
Alright, so first question is the best book you've read so far in 2017.
Okay, so I've read a lot of books this year already.
Tell them how many you've read.
124.
She's insane.
It's insane, and like, yeah, it's very weird. I don't know how I do that. But anyways.
Be proud.
But I think for this, and I've read a lot of really good books, but what immediately comes to mind is Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer by Riordan. I just got into Magnus Chase this year and absolutely love it. The books are so much fun and I just cannot wait for the next one to come out.
So for me, I finally read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Like everyone and their mother has already read this, but I only read it this year and absolutely adored it. It absolutely lives up to all the hype it gets and it's just fabulous. It's definitely my favorite book I've read so far this year.
It is great.
Yes. Question 2, the best sequel you've read so far in 2017.
And for me, I'm going with the final book in the Shades of Magic series, A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab.
And I am also choosing this.
We're in agreement with this one. This book was so good. The whole trilogy was just melted my heart. Yeah. And it was just such a good read.
And I also just want to say, like, I'm someone who, generally speaking, doesn't read a lot of fantasy. And if you are like me, I definitely recommend this series as kind of like a gateway into it. It's very easy to read. It flows so fast. Amazing characters. It's just wonderful. Like, I have no faults with it, I don't think. Like, no. I just adored it. And she wrapped up this series so perfectly.
I still think about it.
Queen! Question 3 is a new release that you want to read.
So this book actually comes out the day we're filming this, and that is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. We're obviously fans here. The Savage Song was in our July box last year, and it was such a great story, so I'm super excited to finally read the conclusion to this one.
I'm also excited for that book, but I have a couple others as well that I've recently bought. One of them is Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. I loved Dumplin by Julie Murphy. We included that in an OwlCrate box a long time ago, and this is her new release, and it just looks like it's going to be a really great contemporary read, and I think it'll be perfect for the summer. And then I also really need to read Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I just have the dust jacket here because I have started it, and I've just heard nothing but good things about this, and I can't wait to like really devote some time to it.
Yeah, her writing is awesome.
So question 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year.
And for me, this one is easy. It is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. This is part of his like new epic fantasy series that he only writes a book every about 3 or 4 years because they're well over 1,000 pages long each book. And I think this one's set to be 1,200 as a tall hardback.
You'll read it in 2 days.
And so I'm so excited. This book comes out in November and I am like itching to get my hands on it.
For me, I've read a lot of the releases that are coming out for the rest of the year, but one that I haven't read because it's not finished yet is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I've loved everything I've read by Marissa Meyer. Like, her stories are just so much fun, and Renegades is all about like superheroes, and it just sounds like it's going to be a total blast, and I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, her books are really fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun to read something new from her again. Question 5 is the book that was the biggest disappointment for you this year.
So again, this one was easy for me because was probably my least favorite book ever this year, and it's called The Death and Life of Zebulon Finch by Daniel Kraus. I gave this book 1 star. It was awful. I'm so sorry, but I have nothing good to say about it, and I'll just move on.
Yeah, you were like disturbed by it.
I was
there
was some like, it's YA, but some like really, really strange and graphic things go down that were not okay with me.
And the cover like was so cool,
yeah.
That I remember like how excited you were to pick it up, and
it was total disappointing cover buy.
For me, and I just want to preface this by saying, like, if you like this book, that is fantastic. A lot of people really did enjoy it. So that book is Wintersong by Jae-Jones. This was originally pitched to me as like a retelling of The Labyrinth, like featuring David Bowie. So I was really excited to pick it up, and it just fell really flat for me. I know that originally she wrote it as an adult kind of romance story, and then it got turned into YA, so I'm curious to see what it would have been like if, like, you know, the more adult scenes were kept in. But I just didn't really connect with any of the characters. The romantic tension wasn't there for me personally. So I was just a little bit sad that I didn't end up enjoying it, but a lot of other people did, so, you know.
Fair enough.
Everybody has different tastes.
True.
Number 6 is the biggest surprise this year.
So I have a bit of a weird one. A lot of my choices are a bit strange because I read quite eclectically, let's say. Yeah. But I picked up a book by an author who I've loved for years called Haruki Murakami. Mm-hmm. Who's a Japanese author, and he wrote a memoir called What I Talk About Running, and it just like blew my mind. It was such an interesting and heartfelt book, and I just still think about it, and I read it months ago now, and it's just a really, really good memoir, especially if you've ever been a runner and been in that kind of community. It's very interesting to read.
Yeah. For me, a big surprise was The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. I'm not religious, and I have nothing against people that are, but I personally don't gravitate towards stories that feature a lot of religion, and this one definitely does. But I just absolutely love this book. I loved the characters. I felt like the religious aspects of it were handled really well. It was extremely heartfelt, and funny, and just, it's an absolute delight. So if you've been like thinking about it but not sure if you're gonna pick it up, like I would really recommend it. I think it's my favorite Emery Lord that I've read, and I've read quite a few of her books, and it was really, really good.
And that cover though.
Yeah, look at that cover!
Gorgeous.
And I've seen the UK cover, and it's really pretty too.
Well done.
Yeah. Question 7 is your favorite new author. It can either be a debut author or an author that's new to you.
So for me, I've gone with Jason Reynolds, who was one of the authors who co-wrote All American Boys. I really loved that book and that I read this year. Such a strong and powerful read, and I really love Jason Reynolds' voice in it specifically, and I really am looking forward to picking up more of his work.
I've heard nothing but good things about Jason Reynolds, and like I need to read
and
something from him. And
he also, when we see him in person, he pretty much is just a rock star.
And he's just, he's beautiful. Like, he walks into a room and you're like, who is that?
It's
like,
true.
Yeah.
So he's like an author rock star, so I'm a new fan.
For me, an author that I discovered this year was Anna Marie McLemore. She wrote Wild Beauty, which is coming out in the fall, and after I read that and absolutely fell in love with it, I wanted to pick up everything that she's written. So right now I'm like in the middle of reading The Weight of Feathers, and I'm just savoring like every word. Like her writing is so beautiful. She's up there with like Maggie Stiefvater and Laini Taylor for sure, and I just wish that more people read her books and knew about her, because like she deserves more recognition. I think she's stunning. I can't wait to read more of that one. So number 8 is your new fictional crush.
So I had to think about this one quite a lot. I have fictional crushes like Levi and Kaz and, you know, all the classics. But I think I'm gonna go with Reed from The Upside of Unrequited, because he's just the cutest little nerdy boy.
He is a little precious cinnamon roll.
He is. He's great. And if I was still a teenager, I'd kind of be into Reed.
So for me, my new fictional crush is definitely Kaz. I know that he's definitely not perfect. He's very morally ambiguous, and definitely has a lot of flaws. But I don't know, there's just something really special about him and how much he cares about his friends deep down. And it's just like super interesting as well. And yep, Kaz forever.
Kaz is great. Everybody loves Kaz.
Yep. So number 9 is your newest favorite character.
And for this, again, I've read so many books this year with so many awesome characters, but I'm gonna go back to Magnus Chase, and Magnus Chase himself. He is just such an interesting person. When the story starts, he's actually homeless, a teenage homeless boy in New York, and then he gets whipped off on this amazing Norse gods adventure, and he's just such a kind and brave and accepting and just very open-minded person, and I really appreciate him as a character, and he's also just like really fun and sassy, which is great.
He sounds cool.
He's cool.
I am going to pick a character from Six of Crows again. Can you tell why this was my favorite book? So my new favorite character is Inej, which is like one of the main female characters in this book. I don't know, I feel like I've never read a female character especially like her. She's been through so much crap in her life, and she's still like such a fighter. She's amazingly like skilled and valued in her like group and community there, and I just love her. I love her strength. and it was like a joy to read from her perspective.
Yeah, she's special, and then
yeah, she is. Number 10 is a book that made you cry.
So I finished this book last night. I actually started it yesterday, and I just couldn't stop reading it. It's called For Today I Am a Boy by Kim Fu, which is a can-lit book about a Chinese family living in Ontario, kind of growing up, starting in the late 60s and up until kind of modern times. And from birth, Peter identifies as female, but is gendered as male. And just it kind of explores his very traditional family, and their also like the denial of their culture and just trying to assimilate into Canadian culture. And it was very powerful and very interesting. I did a little bit of research after, and it's not written by a trans author, but there was a really good article exploring critiquing the book, so I'll leave the link to that article down below just for complete transparency, because I think that's important. But the writing in the book itself was beautiful, and I just think Kim Fu's writing was just amazing. But definitely check out the article as well, because it's very interesting.
For me, this is actually one of the first books I read this year, and I cried a whole bunch all throughout it. That's A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This is a story about a boy who loses his parents in an accident at the very beginning, and he's taken in by a foster family, and there's another boy in that family that kind of becomes his foster brother. And then they get separated at one point, and then the story really takes place kind of like when they have reconnected in high school. So it's just a really good story about friendship, but there is a lot of like abuse in this book, and it was very hard to stomach when I was reading those scenes especially. But overall, this is definitely a book that is about the power of friendship and how friends can save your life in more ways than one, and it's really, really wonderful. I'm like getting teary just talking about it. It's really good. Alright, and question 11 is a book that made you happy.
And I'm going with The Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller, and this came in our March box, and it was just such a fun story. Like, it's not very long, and you can just fly through it, and every single page is just action and adventure and sassy characters and just one thing after another, and it just like was a pleasure to read, and it made me happy.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. For me, that book is definitely When Dimple Met Rishi by Sanya Menon. I was actually sick one day, and I read this in bed in like one sitting. It was absolutely adorable. I was laughing like so much. The characters are so funny. It just is a story that has so much heart. It's about like two teenagers whose parents have kind of wanted to set up like an arranged marriage between them. One of them, Rishi, is all for this marriage, and Dimple is definitely not. And when they meet, a lot of funny hijinks ensue, and it's really, really fantastic. Its own voices. It just came out, and yeah, I want everyone to read it. It's great.
And the cover just makes you happy too.
Doesn't it? I mean, really. I like the whole dust jacket. Like,
that's fun.
I'm into it. Yeah. New favorite auto-buy author for sure. Question 12 is your favorite book to movie adaptation that you've seen this year. And I think we both had the same answer because we saw it together.
Everything by Nicola Yoon. The movie was so cute and adorable, and we went and saw it with the whole OwlCrate team, and it was really fun. We did a little vlog, and we'll link that down below if you want to check that out as well. And I'm just like, it's just such a pleasure to watch.
We were very like excited leading up to the release of this movie, and it's just always going to bring me a lot of really good memories, not just because the movie itself was really good, but the whole experience of going with everybody together, and yeah, we liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good adaptation.
It was really fun.
So question 13 is kind of like a split question. It's either your favorite review that you've written, or if you're a booktuber, your favorite video that you've produced this year. So we're going to pick our favorite videos.
Yeah. So I'm picking the 7-second challenge video that Korrina and I did. It was just like so fun, and like we got really competitive, but it was in a good way though. It was just really fun. So we'll link that down below as well. But yeah, like I just love doing that kind of, it's like playing a game almost. Yeah. It was really fun.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
For me, I think my favorite one was the OwlCrate Q&A. Just because I like really enjoy talking about OwlCrate and everything that goes on behind the scenes, and I just thought it was like really nice to be able to introduce you guys to us, and so you could learn more about all of us. And I also just really enjoy like any video where we're filming them like as a group. It's just a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll link those videos down below. Number 14 is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year.
Again, I had a hard time because there are some nice books that came out this year, but in the end I'm gonna go with the special collector's edition of The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. It is just a stunning book. The whole design of this series, I will always buy the special editions because the cover change doesn't do it for me. But yeah, I'm just so pleased, and it's just gorgeous.
I'm glad that they've decided to do the special editions for like the fans that want them.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
For me, I'm gonna go with Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. I just love the covers in this series. I think that the typography is absolutely stunning, and they're simple but striking at the same time. So yeah. And look, this beautiful blue. I mean, am I right? I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It goes well with the red of the first book too.
Yeah. So last question, number 15, is what books are you hoping to read during the rest of the year?
So I plan to read a lot more books for over the rest of the year, but one specifically that I want to read, and I'm not even the most excited about it, but I read both Red Rising and Golden Sun a couple months ago or last month, and liked them, but didn't love them. But I want to read Morningstar before I forget what happens, because there's quite a lot happening in this sci-fi world, so I have Morningstar, so I'm going to get to it soon before I forget.
Nice. I've got a couple. So one that I'm hoping to read is Welcome Home, which is a short story anthology all about adoption, which was edited and put together by Eric Smith, who, if you're not following him on social media, you are missing out greatly. It's probably my favorite Twitter account of all time. But yeah, I've never really read any stories, I don't think, that have to do with adoption, and I'm just really happy that this anthology exists, and I believe it comes out in September. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then I was also sent a copy of Grey Wolf Island by Tracy Neithercott. This is a book that comes out in October, and it was kind of pitched to me almost like, if you like the Raven Boys, you might enjoy this, and everyone knows how much I love the Raven Boys. So it's got pretty big shoes to fill, but it's kind of about 5 friends who are going looking for treasure on an island, but it sounds like it's going to be really atmospheric and kind of spooky as opposed to adventure. So I'm gonna check that one out. And then I also really want to start reading Renee Audier's work. I've never read anything by her. Everybody talks about how fabulous she is, and I just really need to check her off my list and read some of her books. So I'm hoping to read The Wrath and the Dawn very soon. Alright guys, so that was the mid-year book freakout tag. That was actually a lot of fun answering all of those.
Yeah, it was good.
Let us know what your favorite book of the year so far has been. We'd love to hear about it and talk with you guys.
As per usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye! Bye.